An article in the journal Science published on Friday said that Chinese researchers had successfully produced starch, a form of complex carbohydrate found in plants, using carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and energy as the building blocks. Experts believe that if this technique can be scaled up to the level of industrialization, it has the potential to revolutionize the production of this critical nutrient and industrial ingredient because it eliminates the need to farm and process large quantities of starchy crops such as sweet potato and maize, resulting in greater savings in water, fertilizer, and arable land. Furthermore, it has the potential to convert carbon dioxide, a common industrial waste and a greenhouse gas, into a consumable product. This will aid in the reduction of carbon emissions and the combating of climate change, particularly if the electricity utilized is derived from renewable sources such as solar and wind. Astronauts who fly long distances in space, or who attempt to inhabit other planets where growing food is not feasible may benefit from the use of this technology in space exploration. Future space travelers may simply convert the carbon dioxide they exhale into food that they can consume on the planet. The Chinese Academy of Sciences Research Institute made a significant advance in artificial starch synthesis, which was published in the world's most prestigious academic publication, Science, CAS. The research represents the first time in the history of the world that starch has been synthesized from carbon dioxide. Scientists believe it will have a transformative impact on agricultural productivity and biomanufacturing in the future, among other things. Director of the Tianjin Institute of Industrial Biology, TIB, and corresponding author of the paper titled Cell-Free Chemoenzymatic Starch Synthesis from Carbon Dioxide, Ma Yinhe, stated in a press conference that the institute created an 11-step reaction to create a new pathway of unnatural carbon dioxide fixation and starch synthesis from scratch. Preliminary laboratory experiments have revealed that synthetic starch is approximately 8.5 times more efficient than starch derived from standard agricultural practices. When there is sufficient energy supply and current technical specifications, the annual starch production from a 1 cubic meter bioreactor is equivalent to the annual starch output from 5 mu, 0.33 hectare, of corn in China, assuming that the bioreactor is operating at full capacity. The new method made it possible to transition starch production away from traditional agricultural farming and toward industrial production. Furthermore, it is likely that in the future we will be able to meet our carbohydrate requirements without relying on agriculture. On Friday, a research fellow at the Chinese Academy of Sciences Institute of Biophysics spoke to the Global Times on the condition of anonymity. In an interview with TIB, Kai Tao, the lead author of the paper and an associate professor, stated that if the future cost of their approach can be reduced to a more economically feasible level compared to agricultural, it will save more than 90% of the arable land and freshwater resources, as well as avoid negative environmental effects from pesticides and chemical fertilizers. According to Kai, it will increase food security, improve economic development while maintaining carbon neutrality, and build sustainable biology-based society. Starch is the most significant component of grains, and it is also a vital raw ingredient for the manufacturing industry. The food crisis and climate change are two of the most pressing issues facing humanity today. According to experts, the future of scientific and technical innovation should be focused on the sustainable supply of grain starch as well as the conversion and utilization of carbon dioxide. According to the Technical Information Bureau, starch is primarily created by corn and other crops as a result of the fixation of carbon dioxide during the process of natural photosynthesis. There are about 60 metabolic reactions and intricate physiological control in the process of starch synthesis and accumulation, and the potential energy conversion efficiency is only approximately 2% at the present time. It is common for crop cultivation to take a long period of time and to demand the use of a substantial quantity of resources such as land, water, fertilizers, pesticides, and other agricultural production materials. Artificial biological systems that synthesize starch that are not dependent on plant photosynthesis are a major disruptive technology that will have a significant impact on the globe, according to the World Economic Forum. Global Times spoke with a CAS expert who shared his insights. As part of its focus on bioconversion and usage of synthetic starch and carbon dioxide, the TIB has assembled a team of young scientists with an average age of 30 who have been working together since 2015. For the past 6 years, the team has been actively involved in the research and development of the synthetic starch project. As a result of this new approach, it will be feasible to move the mode of starch production away from traditional agricultural planting and toward industrial manufacturing, as well as to open up a new technical route for the production of complex molecules from CO2. Starch is the most abundant component of grains and is also a significant raw material for industrial production. Today, it is primarily created by crops such as maize, which fix CO2 through photosynthesis and release it into the atmosphere. This process entails around 60 metabolic reactions, as well as intricate physiological control. This process has a theoretical energy conversion efficiency of only approximately 2%, which is quite low. It is imperative that strategies for the sustainable supply of starch and the efficient use of CO2 be developed in order to address some of the world's most pressing problems, including as the food crisis and climate change. Designing novel methods for converting CO2 to starch that are not dependent on plant photosynthesis is an essential and innovative science and technology endeavor that will be a significant disruptive technology in today's world. This problem was addressed by researchers at TIB, which is part of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. They created a chemoenzymatic system as well as an artificial starch anabolic route that consists of only 11 key processes to transform CO2 into starch. According to a building block technique, which the researchers used, they were able to merge chemical and biological catalytic modules in order to exploit high-density energy and high-concentration CO2 in a biotechnologically unique way. The researchers used spatial and temporal segregation to develop a systematic optimization strategy for this hybrid system, addressing concerns such as substrate competition, product inhibition, and thermodynamically adaptation. The artificial approach can create starch from CO2 with an efficiency that is 8.5 times greater than that of maize starch biosynthesis, indicating that we have taken a significant step forward in our quest to go beyond nature. It establishes a new scientific foundation for the development of biological systems with previously unimaginable capabilities. In the study, lead author Kai Tao explained that, according to current technical specifications, the annual output of starch in a 1 cubic meter bioreactor theoretically equates to the annual yield of starch from producing 1/3 of a hectare of maize without taking into account the energy input. This research would pave the way for the industrial production of starch derived from CO2. The ability to produce carbohydrate through more efficient techniques is so critical for long-term sustainability on Earth and future space exploration that NASA designated the conversion of carbon dioxide to glucose, a basic sugar, as one of its centennial challenges for the year 2018. Starch is made up of a significantly longer and more complicated chain of glucose molecules than sugar. It is first necessary to transform carbon dioxide and hydrogen gas into methanol, which is a molecule that contains one carbon atom, according to Kai. Scientists then use enzymes to piece together these single carbon compounds into larger and more complicated molecules, much like putting together a jigsaw. A plus, according to James Bowie, a biochemist at the University of California at Los Angeles, is that the process of producing starch also yields a variety of useful compounds and biofuels in the process. However, it is still a long way off from being useful in practice. One major obstacle is the difficulty of producing stable enzymes on a big scale at a low price. Designing and constructing the appropriate reactor is even another challenge. The majority of the issues are technical in nature. In response, Ma stated that his staff is working on improving the situation. According to him, there is still plenty of potential to improve the efficiency and productivity of the method. We intend to increase the activity and stability of enzymes that we utilize to synthesize artificial starch in order to greatly reduce the cost of the process.